y'all for buzzing in with me. As many may not know, tonight we have singer, songwriter, and producer Sixxjohn. How you doing tonight, Six?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
In anything you do, how are you so confident with everything you do?
That's a good question. It really comes from my family. Like my parents, they instilled confidence in all of us. I remember, not getting in trouble like to the point I would be punished, but I remember getting in trouble for saying that I couldn't do something. Like I can't. Like my dad really extracted that word from the entire family. Like do X, Y, and Z. And like I can't. Don't say can't. And from since as far back as I can remember, he instilled that so much that it just became kind of normal for whatever I was doing. I always wanted to be the best at it, and always had maximum confidence when doing it, whatever it is.
That's real though. I remember my parents used to say that too. It's never can, you will do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just kind of what I operate off of, and as I got older, it just started become just a regular part of life.
Right. Is there a message you can give to a fan that is trying to pursue the same career you're pursuing?
Just always be true to self. Stand out instead of trying to fit in. Whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing, do that, and let your fans find you instead of trying to be like the next person and trying to operate and trying to be the next little baby or whatever it may be. There's that person is that person for a reason. So be true to you, and you'll start to stand out more so than fit in.
Right, and that's true. Is being a leader and not a follower.
Absolutely. Read more.
I got a question for my ladies because I've been asking a lot of ladies.
Uh-oh.
So my ladies want to know: are you single or in a relationship?
Single.
Currently single. You hear that, ladies? He's single.
Yep. I'm on the market.
He's on the market, girls. So
you gotta come correct though. You gotta come correct and be,
Wait.
So the ladies gotta come correct though, with all those games and stuff. So
hey, trying to find what you need.
At this point, what else is there,
That's true. Y'all better come correct for him. What are you doing besides music?
I coach basketball. I'm a high school basketball coach.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, so I've been doing that at the high school level for about 7 years. Going into my 7th year. So, other than music, that's what I do. That's my day-to-day. And I spend a lot of time, watching film and studying and coming up with game plans and practice plans and things like that. And, everything else that comes along with coaching, just figuring out ways for my team to get better. Outside of music, that's what I do. The two things I love most, music and basketball.
So do you have any histories with basketball?
Oh, yeah. I played. I was pretty good. I played overseas for a while.
Where at?
I played in Greece, in Limassol, Nicosia, Cyprus. And there's some film out there on me. If you go to YouTube and type in my government name, you'll see some film of me hooping. Yeah, I was a hooper.
I'm about that out tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't like one of those musicians be trying to play ball. I was the opposite. I was a ball player that I got better at doing music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was different.
Has music always been your passion?
Basketball that's my first love, but yeah, I was writing since when I was a 10-year-old. Like 9, 10 years old. I remember writing songs and taking other songs and like switching the lyrics around and making it my own, and like performing it in front of the family and stuff like that. They used to always make us dance and rap and sing, and all my siblings. So, yeah. Music and basketball have always been like my two, extreme passions.
Now, have music backgrounds in your family? Like, did your mom ever love music? Did music? Your father, auntie, grandma?
Both parents actually loved music and played instruments and sang and stuff like that. My uncle Ray, my mom's brother, he was the lead guitarist for Frank Zappa, who was a huge musician back in the 70s, 80s. So yeah, there's definitely history in my family, musicians, and even now, like my nieces and nephews, mostly my nephews. My nieces not so much, even though they're extremely talented. They don't pursue it as much as my nephews do, but I have nephews that are extremely talented and pretty much taking the torch and running with it, hopefully further than I ever took it. So up until then, I was the one who made it this far, but I see them and their growth. And yeah, so my nephew Reese B, my nephew Vic, my everybody, Steez, Calibri, like all of them are really just taking the torch and running with it. And prayerfully, I want them to go way beyond how I ever took it.
What was it like being on tour with Neo for the first time?
It was fun. It was cool because it was like, our first experience with fame from the music standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So, being on tour with, my brother was dope. Every night was dope. Went on stage and kind of did something different every single night. So it was, oh man, it was a hell of an experience.
And
it taught me a lot, just about, because he's such a great performer. And so it taught me a lot of those things, because me coming up as a rapper, you don't really learn the performance. Like, we're kind of conditioned to just get on stage and rap. You know what I'm saying? He really taught me a different element as far as like stage presence and crowd control and stuff like that. And it helped me as an MC become a better performer, So
right.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Super fun.
So were you nervous at first, like being on stage for the first time in front of a lot of people?
Like on tour with him?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've always gotten butterflies before basketball games or before getting on stage. But once, from a hoop standpoint, as soon as I touch the ball, I'm done. I'm in tunnel vision. Like, I don't feel any nerves. The same thing happened on stage. Like, I would feel butterflies about to get on, and then, the curtains open, and, being on stage with him as his DJ was totally different than being on stage for me. Cause now we're performing in front of 15, 20,000 people. So the curtains open, sea of fans, and you feel nerves. As soon as you hear the music, it's a wrap. Like, I don't feel anything. So
yeah, you're in.
Yeah. So right before it happens, I felt nerves, or felt butterflies. But as soon as I hear the music, it was all out the window.
So let me ask, you say you love basketball so much. What made you stop playing basketball?
My father passed away, and I kind of just lost my, not love for it, but just my motivation. I used to always, seek his approval, and he taught me so much about the game. So having that void at 20 years old was tough. It was tough. And so I kind of just stopped. I came home for the holidays when I was still playing in Greece. And I came home for the holidays, and I never went back.
Now you're back coaching, back into
yeah. I just didn't go back overseas to play, but I played, locally. And then after, a while, I started like training kids and stuff like that, and teaching like the next generation. And then that transitioned into coaching and stuff like that. And so I circled back, and, my father coached high school basketball too. So eventually, it made it back, and now I can, teach the next generation everything that I know and see them flourish.
How did you meet Brian?
In basketball. There was this park in LA that everybody used to play at called Balboa. And we used to play every day from 11 to gym was open. And so, every entertainer, NBA player, actor, comedian, singer, rapper, like everybody, Game used to be up there all the time. Brian McKnight up there all the time. Damon Wayans used to come up there a lot. Chris Spencer, all these different like comedians and I mean, so many people. I could name so many. And it was just, you know, every day we would just hoop from 11 to 1, 11 to 1. And, you know, Brian would come up there. And at that time, when I first met him, I was like 18. So I was still like serious about hoop.
Right.
I wasn't even serious about music at all. I used to be like that dude that was like kind of offended when I seen like R&B singers and stuff like playing ball. Like, what you doing here, bro? Like, I used to like play with each other like that. So that's how we actually didn't like each other when I first met him. We would go at it every day and talk trash to each other and stuff. And, for real. Because he's a trash talker. Like, Brian is a trash talker. For real. So I was like, whatever. And, you know, this is at the peak of like Anytime, when Anytime was out. You remember that song?
Yep.
Yeah, that album I was bumping that album because I loved him as an artist. But seeing him on the court was something different. Like, I didn't respect nobody. So I was young, you know what I'm saying? And we would go at it every day and talk crazy to each other. And then we had a mutual friend named Poet. And I remember it was years later, probably like 7 years later or something. Poet that hit me up. And he was like, yo, and by that time me and Brian was cool. Like we only like disliked each other for like 2 weeks. And then we ended up playing on the same team at the park and stuff. So we was cool after that. I would go to his house and play Madden and stuff back in the day. So we was hella cool. But the crazy thing is I never told nobody I did music ever. And like, I know people, you know, obviously there was so many musicians there that used to be at the park. And afterwards in the parking lot, people would be playing music and everybody gathered around, you know, nice cars and playing demos and stuff like that. And I would chill and listen, but I would never tell nobody I did music. But our mutual friend Poet knew. And so Poet called me one day and he was like, yo, Brian need a rapper on this song. And I was like, for real? And I was like, so Brian played the beat over the phone. He was like, you think you rap to this? I'm like, yeah, I can rap to anything. He was like, you really rap? And I was like, yeah. So he was like, all right, come through the house and get the beat. Obviously this is 2003, so it wasn't no emailing the beat over, you know?
Right.
I was at the studio when I got the call. I drove to his house, picked up the beat, went home and wrote it, and went to the studio that night. And it was crazy because like that was the first time he heard me even rap. And he was tripping. And that song ended up being, if you look it up, it's called U-Turn. And it's me, him, and Fabulous on the song. So
right.
I did the song. I didn't really think anything of it. Like, you know, I didn't know, but I saw him at LA Fitness hooping like a few months after I did it. And he was like, yo, you ready to go on tour? And I was like, for real? He was like, yeah. He said, you know, we putting the song on the album. And that is the title song of the album. I was like, damn. So that's when it became kind of realistic. And so my actual first tour was Brian McKnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went on tour with Neo 2 years later.
So how did you meet Neo?
It's funny. You know, we always felt like we knew each other, oddly enough, right? And even though like when our first interaction that we can remember was probably 2001-ish. Mm-hmm. And just two guys at a studio. His manager brought him through. I was working with a producer that they were going to work with, and so he came by, and we was like, it was like we always knew each other. The first day we met, it was so crazy. And then just recently we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yo," he said, "What junior high did you go to?" And I told him, and he was like, "I went to that junior high." I'm like, "No way!" And so, like, this group ended up popping up on Facebook. You know, one of the Facebook groups, and it was the name of our junior high. So people like tagged me, like, "Oh my God, did you go to this school? Like, I never forgot your name." And so this guy that I remembered named Tim was like, had the yearbook, and I'm like, bro, I said, yo, look in the yearbook and see if there's a Schaefer Smith, like, you know, in the grade below us. And so he sent a picture, and lo and behold, it was Neo. Like, we went in high school. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, our yearbook, he posted a picture on his Instagram. I posted on my Instagram too, but like the yearbook, you could tell like we're at the same school, looking nuts.
I seen that picture.
Yeah, haircuts. It's crazy. My mom was like, "Who did your hair like that?" I was like, "I did." So yeah.
So Six, You wrote for Empire Music on season 2 and 3. How was that?
It was really dope. You know, it teaches you a lot about yourself as a writer, because a lot of times you're writing under pressure. You know, and there was times when I can remember that I would get the call and be like, yo, we need this song by, 10 o'clock a.m. Central, which is 8 o'clock a.m. my time. And it's like 10 o'clock the night before. So I got to go, read the synopsis of the scene. This is kind of what the scene looks like. And then, let's figure out what beat it's gonna be, and come up with the song, then record the song, and then send it in. And hopefully it's what they're looking for, because the show airs on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So it teaches you a lot about your writer and being able to deliver under pressure and stuff like that. So it was dope, man. It was a wonderful experience. So I nothing bad to say. Fox was dope. Lee Daniels was dope. All the actors and everybody that was a part of the show, super dope.
Yeah, that was a big show.
It was.
That was my show.
Yeah. So like when we first started doing the show, it was the biggest thing on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
it was.
To be a part of it was crazy. And I would be at the studio all night, and then until like 6 a.m, and I would leave the studio and go straight to basketball practice at the high school. And I leave the studio like 5:30, and then team no sleep, and then be at practice by 6, ready to rock 6 to 7:45, 8 o'clock, and then go home and go to sleep, and sleep and repeat.
So let me ask, who brought you to become the writer for season 2 and 3? Who introduced you to it?
Neo did. So Neo got the call to write on the show, and he thought it would make sense, obviously, since there's rap, R&B, and pop, for him to write the R&B and pop, and for me to write the rap. Even he just did it because that's my brother. Like, he didn't need me, because he's more than capable of writing all the genres. He's a really good writer when it comes, like, he could write raps hella good too. So
right.
It's just a blessing, just to believe in you and to that capacity, because obviously, like we agree, like, that was a big show. So I could have came in and bombed, and they'd have been like, who's that? We don't like none of those songs.
Right. So that's
it worked out.
Brotherly love, you know what I'm saying? It's always good to have
sure.
that believes in you. Shout out to Neo.
Shout out, for sure.
To believe in you, push you to that extra element as well.
Yeah, and we were this close broke too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a PayPal. PayPal is a genuine brotherhood. If his whole career stopped tomorrow, and you know what I'm saying, like, we would still do all the same stuff we do now. We would talk just as often, and I love him the same. So it's not, it has nothing to do with who he is to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my brother. That's my brother for real.
And that's good, because not for nothing, there's not friends like that nowadays at all.
Yeah.
So when you have a friend like that, you hold on to and keep it going with your friend.
Absolutely, 100%.
Your album, Cold Pizza, which is your favorite collaboration?
What's yours?
I'm gonna go with the Brian McKnight.
The one that, like, everybody, that's the crowd favorite. Yes. What's mine? It's hard for me to pick one, because, like, every song is special in its own way. That people love that song the most, but it's something about, it's something about you that, like, the more I hear it, even now, like, after this much time has passed, that song feels special. Like, every time I hear it.
No,
so, shout out.
And that's, they all have flavor to it. So each and one of them, you can actually put yourself in the scene to it. So that's what I love that.
Yeah, I like You a lot, so shout out to Sana Rayleigh, who did that. I think the Brian McKnight song is one of my best verses on the album. Just really interesting, especially because it's such for me to be able to execute that kind of skill set on that type of song, which is the song is like pretty commercial, you know, it's pretty commercial. But really, like rapping on that song and like the super intricate and my cadences and stuff. So that's probably one of my favorite verses on the album, if not my favorite.
Yeah. Mr. John, would you like to tell them where they can find you?
Sixxjohn, Twitter, Instagram. It's at Sixxjohn, Sixxjohn. My Facebook is Sixxjohnson, which is my government name. Yeah, I think Loom, Sixxjohn, and Loom is LUM. You can find a lot of exclusive music on that, including what I'm gonna play right now. Actually, my daughter did the hook, my youngest daughter.
Oh, okay.
And this will be the first thing that I'm releasing with her on it. And she wrote it, arranged it, the whole thing, like by herself. I just sent her the this one is 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's amazing. So, here's a sample of it.
I'm the type to give you my last, or the shirt off my back. I refer to the past when the hurt overlaps. Ain't no curve in the facts. Don't come to my funeral when I take that permanent nap. Don't post me on your page for no sympathy gain. I'm God gifted, way beyond some industry fame. You don't gotta fake like you a friend with me, man. I'ma take my last breath without this energy change, cause I see what it is, what it was, it might be. With my name's in the lights, you like me. But when it ain't, you talk bad about me. So proudly, look, I done been a dad to kids who dad skirted, and still know some deadbeats that fix their face to call me.
All right, so let's not give them too much. Let them find it.
You have to come find that. I might put it out tonight. We'll see.
So y'all stay tuned for the next coming things that Six is gonna be doing. Find exclusive on Loom. Download Loom for my upcoming rappers, singers. Y'all go to Loom and push your music on Loom. I've seen a lot of dope rappers on there.
It's a really dope platform, man, especially for independent artists and stuff like that, and producers, and just, you know, like myself. And you make real money on it. You know what I'm saying? Like when people hear one of my songs and they gift it and stuff like that turns into currency for me. So I've made a decent amount of money in the past couple months. Just, you know, putting out, you know, quality content and stuff like that. So it's been dope. It's been dope.
So before we end this, I wanted to ask you, do you work with any independent artists? Do they reach you?
Yeah, just reach out to me on my IG. I'm probably most active on that. I don't even really use Twitter like that. But yeah, it's Six.John, Sixx.John. But yeah, like, you know, just reach out to me and, you know, we'll figure out the logistics. But yeah, I work with anybody, man, as long as it's quality music, because obviously I care about my name and the rapport that I built over the years. So as long as it's quality content, you know, I'm down. I'm down to help the next person for sure.
Okay, here in Florida where I'm at, we got this big upcoming artist. So shout out to Marty Price. I will send him your information over as well.
Marty.
Yeah, MARDY Price, PRICE.
Dope. Send it over. I'll check it out. Shout out to Marty Price.
Gotcha. So thank you guys for buzzing in with us, and we are out.
Thank you.
I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible.